This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, my name is Yasir Gulfraz and I'm your tutor for UK taxation for business and individuals. Anybody can hear me and can you see my screen as well,
Yes.
right? Okay, all
Yes.
right, okay. So I think so it's only you are here today and this is your first session. But anyway, just a quick recap. Uh, PPCIO, professional behavior, professional competency and capability, confidentially, parent, subsidiary, associate, simple capital gain tax, and individual content as also. Uh, Here, today's lecture will cover the topic of stakeholder, including shareholders, employees, potential investors, directors, managers, suppliers, customers. Also, we will discuss the importance of effective communication with these stakeholders, including emails, uh, reports, letters, memorandum, meeting notes, and face-to-face communications. Here is some, income tax rates. Are you working in? Are you a professional or just a student?
I'm a professional, yes.
Okay, so how long you been working for?
Um, 16 years.
Oh yeah, it's a quite long time. So you definitely know because we haven't discussed earlier sessions. But you definitely know that basic rates, high rates, and additional rates of income tax and residential status on you.
Yes, definitely. The taxman is not my friend, but yes, I'm
Yeah,
aware.
yeah, yeah. So you work for only income tax, or you work for? I mean that you deal with all kind of taxes like inheritance taxes, capital gain tax, or you work for a specific businesses.
So I work in industry at the moment, and we specialize at the moment on property. Yes, I work
Oh,
for
so
property
you
company. Yeah,
you work for someone else right now.
right now, yes.
Okay, so you are trying to get a license for your own practice.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so your specialization is inheritance.
My specialization at the moment is property tax and property management.
Okay, so you want to carry on with it, or you just want to work for income tax or other things?
I've not decided yet, but I think I'll keep my options
Okay,
open.
okay, okay. I'm just asking that, just looking for your background. Obviously, it says,
Mm,
basically your purpose is to most of people because I met few other people's in my last four sessions without sessions. Some most of people don't have time to attend because of their jobs or professional life.
mm.
But message me and I've contacted them. I don't know you got my message or not. But there was a group. So most of people are professional. So they're trying to work for a small businesses and their purpose is to getting license or things like that.
Mm,
So anyway, here, that property income basic rates, these are basic rates of taxes. If you go through my earlier lectures or sessions, you will see that this is calculation inheritance tax. If you work in property, you can see that nil rate band is 325 pound, and then residential net rate band is 150,000, lifetime rate is 20%, and death rate is 40%.
mm.
So corporation tax, financial year 2019 rate was 19%, 2018 was 1917, 150 £1,500,000, which is 1.5 million. Then value added tax is, that it's a standard rate is 20%, and registration limit 85,000, and deregistration limit 83,000 pound. Here is he's talking about capital gain tax, which is lower rate is normal rate, and lower rate, high rate, and then residential property rate 18%, annual exempt amount, lifetime is limit and rate of taxation is 10%. National insurance contribution, which is a class, there are four classes basically, one, two, three, and one A, two, and three, and then four. Class three is basic for employers, and these for employees, and to class one is up to 8,632 per year, and then 12% above uh, 8,633%. Will come here. External stakeholders. For connected stakeholders can be viewed as having a contractual relationship with the organizations. The objective of satisfying shareholder it takes taken as the prime objective, which the management of the organization will need to fulfill. However, customers and finances objective must be met if the company is to succeed. Can you hear me, Brent?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, okay. So basically, connected stakeholders are those who have a contractual relationship with the organization, such as stakeholder, customer, suppliers, and finance providers. So each stakeholder has their own needs and expectations that the organization needs to meet in order to succeed. Customer expect their needs to satisfy through value for money, products and services. So any attempt to increase quality and price may lead to customer dissatisfaction. Uh, the organization need to strike a balance between meeting customer needs and generating profit. Suppliers uh, expect to pay promptly if the organization decide to delay payment to ease cash flow. Existing suppliers may cease supplying goods. It is important to maintain good relationship with the suppliers and pay them on time. So finance providers ability to repay the finance, including interest, security of investment. Uh, Finance providers such as banks and investors. So the organization ability to generate cash to crucial in meeting these expectations. So it is very important to maintain a good relationship uh, with banks, finance providers, to ensure that continued access to funding. So here was connected state. These are here he's talking about external stakeholder. Have you got any idea about external stakeholders?
People from the outside, isn't
While
it? So the
yeah,
community. Yeah.
yeah, community at large, including local government authorities. So this group will have quite diverse objectives and have varying ability to ensure that the organization meet the objectives. So community, at large, so general public, local residents can be stakeholders if their lives are affected by an organization's decisions. For example, the organization's attitude towards out of town shopping centers may impact the local community access to retail and job opportunities. So environmental pressure group, the organization does not harm the external environmental. So if environmental pressure group may be stakeholder if an organization's activities harm the external environment. For example, if an airport wants to build a runway, so pressure groups may stage a sit into protest against potential environment damage, or like that. So government action can be central to the success of a company as they provide jobs and collect taxes. Legislation such as very common is health and safety regulations, so must be met by the company to comply with government requirements. Trade unions is a very common, taking an active part in the decision making process. uh, if a department is to be closed and the union will want to be consulted, there should also be a scheme in place to help employees find alternative employment or any other options. So example of conflict, uh, stakeholder conflicts, expectations of the different stakeholders may conflict. Some of the typical conflict are shown as below. uh, One, he's talking about different employees versus manager, customer versus stakeholder, general public versus shareholder, manager versus shareholders. So challenge with analyzing stakeholders is that they often belong to more than one group and may change their grouping depending on the issue at front. So for example, marketing and production department may be united against dropping in a certain product, but there may be opposition regarding plans to buy a new product for the range. So managing stakeholders conflict requires careful consideration of each stakeholder's objectives and expectations. So effective communications and consultation can help identify potential conflicts and resolve them before they increase or accelerate. So next is resolving conflict. So there are number of ways of resolving stakeholder conflict, including the following. Uh, Dealing with conflict stakeholder objectives, there are different strategies that can be employed to resolve uh, the conflict. Site and March have identifying four approaches to address such as conflict. First approach known as satisfying, then sequential attention, side payment, exercise of power. So first is involves negotiation between key stakeholders to arrive at acceptable compromise. Second one is exceptional, called sequential attention, requires management to focus on the, sorry about that, requires management to focus on the needs of each stakeholders in turn. This means that the group of stakeholders may receive preferential treatment in the short term, but this is balanced by the understanding that other groups will receive similar treatment in the future. Side payments involves compensating stakeholders, those whose primary objectives cannot be met in the current situation. For example, a company that plans to build a factory in an area where pollution and noise are concerns may offer to build a park or a community centers in the same area as a way to compensate for the negative impact of the factory. So sorry. So next is exercise is power. When a deadlock is resolved by a senior figure forcing through a decision simply based on the power they possess. So any questions, Brent, over here?
No, nothing so far.
No. Okay. These are here basically is talking about different stakeholders. So when you talk about your work or your accounting profession, there are internal and external stakeholders always are involved. So next is Menlo development, a matrix to help managers classifying stakeholders according to their power and interest, with recommendations show to manage different groups. So mission statement, uh, by understanding where each stakeholder falls on the matrix, managers can tailor their approach to effectively. So manage each group. For example, stakeholder with high power and high interest should be given more attention and engagement than those with low power and low interest. Well crafted mission statement can also be uh, effective tool of resolving conflict by communicating the organization's priorities and values of stakeholders. Then corporate governance is another important factor is resolving stakeholders conflict. Then is a corporate ethics is also crucial in resolving stakeholder conflicts. Ethical dilemmas can often be viewed as a conflict between different stakeholders groups, such as the conflict between maximizing shareholder profit and protecting the environment. A strong ethical framework and a commitment to corporate social responsibility can help to address these conflicts and build a more sustainable and ethical business model. Here he's that talking about each type of organization has its own set of primary stakeholders uh, who have specific objective and methods of monitoring performance. A note assumption made and limitations of the information are provided the stakeholders. Journal meetings, annual journal meetings, and extraordinary journal meetings in case of that some issues of between directors, members, shareholders, or any other issues if they need any early urgent meetings or extraordinary general meetings. Effective communications. uh, Effective communication involves several attributes, observations, including the use of appropriate format, observing format conversations and house style, professionally presenting the information, ensuring technical correctness, being clearly understandable, and protecting the appropriate corporate image. So here he's talking about attributes and explanations, using appropriate format, selecting the right format for the job. So professionally observing format conventions and house style, using formats correctively, observing conventions of structures, format, style within organizations, then professionally presented, ensuring that documents are neat, legible, concise, helpfully structured, and smartly presented. Technically correct, ensuring the content is accurate, appropriately details, and checked for factual data and typographical error, clearly understandable, tailored to the right purpose in communicating and to the information needs, protecting the appropriate corporate image, achieving the purpose. So obtain feedback to check that the communication has been effective. Manage content when planning communications. Think about pause and case, pause in purpose, audience, structures, and styles. Case, keep it short and simple. Any questions so far, Brent?
No.
Hello? Can you hear me, Brent?
Yes. No. No question so far.
Okay. So next is talking about presentation, which is when planning communication, think about professionalism and corporate image. So this is professionalism and corporate image. It is important to consider several factors related to the presentations of the message. One, key consideration is professionalism. Professionalism involves, uh, legibility and neatness, demonstrating competence, demonstrating regard for the needs for the user, displaying good design features, and presentation is corporate. Another important, consideration is presentation is corporate image. Reflect the image of the organization. Reflecting image of organization is the communication. This can be, achieved through the use of house style guidelines, including corporate logos, specially designed stationery, and consistent layouts, colors, etc. So by using these elements, consistently throughout the communication, the message will be more easily associated with the organization. Also, message also will be very clearly and visible. So business language. When planning communication, think about informal and formal. Hopefully, you know about these two type of communication.
Mhm.
Appropriate style for the organization. Use full grammatical sentence. Appropriate of the business relationships. Refer to the address of the wait, and here wait for to invite it to be informal, friendly, personal, and abbreviations, cells, expression, digression. Basically, here all that above and is uh, down the bottom. He's talking about communications, way of communications, formal, informal, clear, precise, on forms and method of communications. He's talking about forms of communication can be categorized as either internal or internal and verbal or external. So when communicating internally with colleagues or line manager, it is important to be polite and accurate. So this type of communication should be professional and respectful, reflecting the corporate culture and values. When you talk about your managers, seniors, or official. So external communications is with the customers or suppliers and should also be professional and in line with the corporate image. So this type of communications involve a variety of channels, such as you might use in your profession as letter, reports, email, memorandum, notes, and or text message. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So here in detail, he's talking about different type of methods, which are letters, reports for letters. Uh, when you talk about letterheads, name and address, references, initials of writer are secretly, normally they mention confidential. So date, name and address, solution, heading, body of the letter, complimentary clause, signature name, job title, and reports. When reports, formal and informal. Formal title, summary, introduction, finding, conclusion, recommendations. Then informal title and date, introduction, nature of the investigations, finding, conclusions, and recommendations. So when next one is emails. So emails here, etiquette, set of rules when writing an email, subject, copy, carbon copy, blind carbon copy. So, facsimile, the treatment of a copy of documents through a fax machine, computer, fax header, sheet. These are very basic things, basically. Header,
Mhm.
from, to date, fax number, number of pages, messages. Then things come to the note, a formal written note to pass and message or instructions, name of person receiving the notes, name of person sending the notes, time and date, the note in written message, indication of action to be taken. So next is access non-taxation factors applicable to individual stakeholders. Uh, Effective communications play a vital role in every aspect of organization. So basically, effective communication is essential for the smooth functioning for of any organizations. When communication, that channels are well established, task can be completed effectively and in a timely manner. So employers who are well informed and involved in the communication process feel more engaged, committed, and valued within the organizations. So in simply if I say, then good communication, practices facilitate coordinations and collaboration between different levels of the organizations, fostering positive relationship between bosses and employees. So in next one is internal communication. Internal communication is the imparting, sharing, and exchanging of information and message within an organization, between managers and employees across functions and departments. So advent of digital communications platform such as mobile telephone, video conferencing, internet, social media, uh, the way people that revolutionized the way people communicate within the organization. These digital tools have broken down geographical barriers and made it easier for people working remotely. So you might seen things during the COVID, people start doing remote work, and many companies still doing remote working, work from home. So in another internal communication, basically is a process of exchange of information and messages. So this may be face to face, remote, or uh, written or spoken, or may be carried out by a range of methods, which we discussed earlier: presentations, briefing, meetings, conversation, email, letters, or discussion and debates. Review internal communication framework and procedures. Conduct a review of how employees are currently receiving and sharing information, and how effectively communications channels are being used. Consider undertaking a full communications audit, looking at information and communication needs. So to ensure effective internal communication with an organization, where it is very important to regularly review how information is being received and shared uh, between employees. A comprehensive communication audit can help identify communication needs, target audience, and the most effective communication methods. So also audit should consider how changes are introduced, and whether all relevant employees are informed in timely manners, procedures, and keeping remote or part-time workers informed should also be reviewed. Select the right delivery channels. When planning internal communication, it is uh, very important to uh, carefully consider the delivery channel used to ensure the message is received effectively. So there are different channels have their own advantages and disadvantages. So face to face, all staff briefing team or departmental meetings and briefing, one-to-ones, presentation, workshop, focus group, team away days. So remote audio channels, including telephone calls, conference calls, video conferencing, are useful for connecting with remote or geographically dispersed team. uh, but there is another thing: they may be less effective for building reports and non-verbal communications. Next is paper-based newsletters, memos, bulletin letters, reports, posters, flyers, brochures. Then is online communications, again email, internet, social media. Which channel you use will depends on a range of factors, including, so it depends on size and location of the organization, whether it's a single site, multi-site, or international. So when selecting communication channel, it is important to take into account various factors that can influence their effectiveness. The size and geographical spread of an organization can dictate whether face-to-face meeting, remote audio, or online channels are most, appropriate for communicating with the employees. You got it, Brent. Any question so far?
No, that's all fine.
These are basically Brent's here today. Lecture 4 basically discussing about communications, between staffs, companies, and
Yeah,
other, various departments.
yeah.
So if you see, initial three, they are talking about obviously tax, and was a final chapter or final learning outcomes is talking about few, communication tools
Mm,
or uh, ways. So communicate the mission, vision, values, and strategy of the organizations. All employees need to know what the organization is trying to achieve and how it plans to do it. So uh, corporate values sorry, must be effectively communicated and integrated into individual attitude and behaviors. You know, uh, otherwise they lose their significance and fail to make an impact. So, to effectively communication and organization mission, vision, and long and short term strategies to all employees, consider thinking outside the box and utilizing creative methods. For instance, hosting interactive workshop, organizing team building activities, or creating visually appealing infographics can all help employees connect with the company's goals and understand how they fit into the bigger pictures. So it is very important to ensure that the information is presented in a manner that is easily acceptable to everyone. Be aware of your legal responsibilities. So effective communication within the organization vary, depending on specific circumstances. So although much of what is communicating internally will differ from one organization to another, there are instances there are employees have a legal obligation to communicate and consult with the workforce. So, for example, employees have a legal obligation to communicate about areas such as health and safety, restructuring, and redundancies, depending on the applicable national and international legislations. So, must be according to the legal obligations. So, in the UK, the Information and Consultation of Employee Regulations Act 2004 organization with over 50 employees to establish formal consultations procedures if requested by a sufficient number of workers. Large employers must be establish a European Work Council if sufficient employees request it. Ensure consistent communication process and procedures. To ensure effective and consistent communication throughout the organization, it is important to establish a standard process and ensure that everyone is aware of them. So framework should be created that outline how different types and levels of communication should be handled. This includes updates on organizational performance reports, on success and achievements, strategic adjustment, changes in personal major change initiative, operational details, and information on company policies and procedures. Next one is communication business performance. Again, is repeating things in order to ensure employees are engaged and informed. It is vital to communicate with employees about the performance and growth or otherwise of the organization. So, to keep employees engaged and informed, it is important to communicate regularly about the organization performance and growth. So, this includes sharing which targets are being met and when there are shortfalls, rather than the overwhelming employees with details, financial reports, provide summaries, and use case studies or real life examples to illustrate how the organization's values and visions are being put into actions. Meetings are gathering of individuals with a common objectives or goal aimed at discussing specific issues or topic. Meetings can be either formal or no informal, and can range in size from small groups or to large assemblies. So there are a different type of meetings, each with its own distinct purpose and focus. Some common example of meetings like informal, some information sharing, information gathering, problem solving, decision making, planning strategies. So information sharing meetings where individuals can together to share information or update on a particular project or topic. So information gathering, individuals come together to get to gather information from various sources such as feedback from customers or data from surveys. Problem solving meetings where individuals come together to identify and resolve specific issues or challenges. One of the very common problem solving meetings called fishbone meetings. Then is decision making meetings when individuals come together to make decisions on important issues or matters. Then planning, last one is individuals, they come together to develop plans and strategies for achieving specific goals or objectives. Any questions, Brent?
No, that's all clear to me so far. Thank you.
Yeah, you understand that these are basic type of meetings, communications, ways of communications, type of communications. So I
Yes,
hope you already knows these kind of basic things.
yes, definitely.
So why have meetings? That meetings are essentials part of the communication process. So within the organizations, serving various purpose. So solve a problem, make a decisions, develop a plan, gather a convey information, get a response, uh, established, blah blah. The structure and roles of meeting. Before a meeting, ensure a productive meeting. It is essential to create an agenda beforehand. The agenda serves as a roadmap for the meeting, outlining the date, time, location, attendance, and any necessary, apologies. So it also identifies each, item to be discussed, and designates who will take responsibility for each part of the meeting. Guest speaker are typically noted on the agenda, and there may be a section for any other business at the end. So it is good practices to ask participant if they have any additional items to add, as this allows for preparation time and research into the topic. So additionally, it is helpful for managers to know if a sensitive topic will be discussed to prepare an appropriate response. Here is a quiz, short questions. If you want to see, just go through. For further rating, ACCA Global. I don't think so. You need for this topic, but for taxations, income tax, and for your assignments, you can check this websites, and also you can drop me an email. So that's it for today, Brent. uh, Today's topic was quite short and only about was communication. So if you have any questions, drop me an email at tutor-management@ukversity.com, and you can also message me, WhatsApp me, and if there is any question. That's it for today, and
Thank you very
have
much.
a if you have any question, just drop me an email. Okay.
Will do. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. Yes.